This is Colin Dijs, and in this video you'll see a live masterclass recording. For the entire month of December, every day I will give you a specific part of the masterclasses. I will prepare a playlist to the side, so no matter when you're watching this, you can click on the playlist, go to the next video, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, until the masterclass is completed, and then there will be a next one available. If you want to attend these masterclasses live with me, ask your questions all about native ads, check the link in the description below for very affordable group coaching. I hope you enjoy, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. Where do you have the least influence on the conversion rate?
Ads.
Why?
Because we are just targeting the audience there, not converting, literally. We are just like selecting who we want to see our offer.
Who agrees with this? Let me rephrase it, because you're all a little shy today. Who doesn't agree with this? Who has a good argument why this is not correct? Nobody? Oh, that's a shame.
I didn't really understand what she was saying.
All right.
I can use another words also if you want.
No, that's okay. I'll just quickly recap it.
Okay.
The conversion rate is influenced on the offer page. The least influence is on the ad, because the ad is just to pull in the traffic into the funnel, not to convert them. Make sense? We agree with this? Okay. Jijin, you agree with this or not? Yeah, okay. Well, if everybody agrees, then it must be correct. And it is correct. So that's good. All right. So now you have people make choices. What could be the choice in terms of people clicking on the ad? That's where it all begins. That's the start of the flow. What increases your odds of people clicking on the ad?
Increase the influence, right?
Well, it's your influence to increase them to click.
Okay.
Because people think like we do not control what the audience does. You don't, to a certain extent, but there are elements that you do control. And if you don't use those, you're losing against somebody who does use those.
The headline we use in the ad.
Can you run an ad on native without a headline? Could you leave it empty?
No, but I can put like a CTA. I can influence them to take an action. Reading the headline.
Strong headline, but I would prefer to hear something else. So please do give it another shot.
Talking about the specific solution, a good image, know the audience and show what they want to see.
Remember that a couple of weeks ago we had the whole discussion about two things: descriptive and punctual. Right? All the things you say are correct, but they're all descriptive, right? We cannot really put those to use in this assignment. You're just describing what a good ad would look like, which is great, but I want to know the exact things. If you would say good creative, what are the elements of a good creative that make your creative better than the rest?
Okay, a good image with contrast.
What does that mean, a good image?
With contrast, with...
Okay. And those different rules, what are those rules called?
5 rules of a creative.
Okay, perfect. So at least your creative needs to follow the 5 rules of a good creative minimum. Yes, minimum. Because everybody here, mostly everybody here, if you've been here for a while, knows these 5 rules. If you don't use these 5 rules, you're gonna lose. And guess what? I refute, today's Tuesday. So in the last 48 hours, I reviewed 263 creatives of students, of which 240 did not follow the 5 rules to a good creative, which means that your audience is not so tough to beat, right? I don't want to say y'all stupid, but kinda sometimes, right? It is very important that these 5 rules, which is the bare minimum to follow, right? And you guys have so much creativity, it's great. But first we need to lay the foundation and then we build. We don't build without a foundation, because then at some point when you have a great tower, somebody like me come with a double tank and just blast your tower off because you have no foundation. That's a good metaphor. Thanks, Samantha. What else? 5 goals to good creative. What else is there about the creative that we could use to be better than somebody else?
Use capitalization.
On an image? I am confused.
In the headline.
Yeah, but this is about the
We're
image.
talking about the whole creative stuff, not just image, right?
No, I'm talking about the image.
Okay.
Okay, I see Willie is eager to speak. So we'll pause Samantha for a second. Thank you. I will get back to you. Willie, it's your turn.
I think it is curiosity.
That's one of the 5 rules. So we already have the 5 rules. So if you look at an image, yeah, look at your screen right now, what you're doing. What do you see? Why are all these frames different from one another? Okay, anybody is allowed to shout his answer if you know it. Why are all the frames different? Not one of these frames is the same. Yes, they have different people, I understand this. But what is the leading creative aspect in these images of all our faces? Nobody? You guys disappoint me. See, now we're going from being nice to the rough teaching part. Alvin, you want to give it a shot?
Why these pictures? Oh, I was going to say pattern interrupt would be a good one, but I don't know if that's for
that's descriptive.
It doesn't answer your last question.
What would be a pattern interrupt here?
Something that people aren't expecting, like something that stops the scroll of incessant, when you're looking at things.
Okay,
just something
but
that
what is
pops
it?
up,
Like
so
an actual example?
I'll
give you some assistance. I look at this Zoom
Sure.
call. Yes, my eyes cannot stay away from Michael. He's a handsome man, but not that handsome. And Janine, their 2 pictures keep dragging my attention. Why?
They have a background that's different than everyone else, right? So
yeah, and what specifically about the background is different?
It shows something that's not in the environment. Like, there's a planet behind them for one of them. Well, both of them actually have a planet behind them, but it's just not like you're not in a room. You're in some other place, another environment.
Yeah. When I look at their backgrounds, I'm not actually looking at their backgrounds. I'm just glancing because I want to see everybody's faces. I'm looking at the color palette. Yes. When I look at Pablo, I see white, Titus white, Pedro dark, Alvin white, myself dark, Willie white, Gigin white, Ross white, Roman white. That is the pattern, right? It's white or dark background. Everybody, Pedro and Eric have a dark background. Everybody else has a white background. Michael has some kind of weird shit going on. And then Janine is also in outer space right now. The colors are very important. When we go to a creative on a website, the native bar is 3 ads or 4 or 6 layered, right? 3 on 3. If these images are orange, 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 red, red, what are you going to do? Not fucking orange or red or yellow, right? We're going to go blue, purple, anything which makes it pop. You get your pattern interrupt. So Alvin, I want you to understand you are right, but you're very wrong in terms of the descriptive part, right? Because we always come back to the descriptive part where we say what we see, and we don't really say what we should say, which in this case is color. Color gives you a huge advantage over other affiliates, right? I saw something this morning which I thought was great. Bananas are which color?
Yellow.
Yellow, or they are in the worst case green, right? Sometimes when they're too old, they're black, right? Or like with black spots. So those are the 3 options. This guy shows me a blue banana. Of course, I tell him it's fake. He says it's not fake, it's real, right? There's some like blue banana, which grows in Jamaica, which is actually blue, like baby blue. I said, this is amazing for a creative, but I want the blue banana because it looks fake. I want it to be unfolded while somebody's eating it, because then it makes it real, right? So we got that as a creative, which I thought was amazing. Just by the color, it changed the entire dynamic because banana is not interesting, right? But blue banana is interesting. So the pattern interrupt is very important, but the color aspect of the creatives will give you a unfair advantage. It just should be in your brain that is very important. When we talk about creatives, what else could you do other than these two things? Anybody has any additional suggestions?
High quality images.
Yes, one of the 5 rules is high quality, no blurriness. But yes.
Relate the creative directly to the audience or the placement specifically.
Would that be possible?
Well, if you knew what the placement name was, the website, you could tailor content to specifically that one, I guess, couldn't you?
I don't know. Could you?
Run a separate campaign with a whitelist with one placement, I guess you could.
Is it a question that if it would be possible or would it be manageable? Because if you would say factual, yes, it's possible. Would anybody ever do that in their right mind? Probably not, because making custom creatives for each widget specifically would be a nightmare. To manage one thing, and I don't think your account manager will even approve these campaigns, which all have one widget with like one random creative for a couple, right? But it would be interesting. Something you mentioned before. No, I forgot. You said tailored to the specific placement. That's what you said, right?
It's mainly tailoring the creative to the audience, so making it relatable to making the offer relatable to the audience. Is what I meant, really.
So we have ad, lender, offer, right? What is this called together?
Flow.
Flow, right? So with the start of the ad, what do we need to create so it's relevant to the audience?
Coherent flow. So we need to make it relevant. The ad needs to be relevant to the offer.
Yeah, and then it starts basically the coherent flow, which is what we need, what we I don't want to say desire, but that's something that should always have our main focus, right? So this is the 3 things on a creative where you already have influence, right? Do we think about these things when making creatives? Probably not. Then you have the headline. Then you have the lender, which has multiple variations. We did a masterclass on the lender solely as well. So there's already like 8 or 12 variables on the lender, which you could influence. And then the offer, it comes down to a test because you cannot usually influence it that much. If you do not control the offer page, right? So on an affiliate flow, what on the lender is it that basically could influence the offer in terms of methodology? Michael?
If you talk about Coherent flow, it have to lead towards the offer, to something that continues the story of the landing page.
And what do we call that?
Set to be coherent, no discrepancies. In other words,
yeah, no discrepancies. We'll keep it coherent. That's right. But there's a specific marketing term for this, Mr. Ronzini. What is it?
We are pre-framing and warming up the client.
Yes, so there will be a different pre-frame that influences the offer. So that's basically the angle, not of the ad specifically, but the par angle on the lander that basically could frame the offer different. You know, I could tell you this weight loss supplement has helped moms with kids tighten up their belly by losing fat. And what that means is they get their mummy tummy is disappearing, right? The stretch marks or the loose skin or whatever. I could tell you this supplement helps females reduce their body weight significantly. On one angle, the pre-frame is on moms, on the other one is females in general. And the pre-frame can every time be different. Obviously, it has to be coherent within the flow, but the pre-frame is extremely important in terms of how you frame the actual commitment to the offer. Because if you would say, this car is very expensive, right? It's luxury at its finest. It is one of the fastest cars in history. So we all think it's a Lamborghini, it's a Ferrari, right? And then you bring them to like a Formula One car, which is not even allowed to ride on the open street. You are correct. Everything you're saying is